Keaton Cogan, analyzing some political cartoons, pulled this off the U.S. History Regents.
Okay.
However, I couldn't resist because it looked a lot like, these other two that we kind of go
Oh,
with.
yeah.
So what will happen is that we'll analyze this one, but then those other two might come up in conversation. If they do, great. If not, I don't know, remind me to touch on it when we're done with it.
I
So
will.
starting with this political cartoon, we'll go here. And here we have, this big guy that seems to be dominating it right in the middle.
Yeah, size in political cartoons always represents many different things. Wealth, power, sometimes greed, but usually greed is like girth.
Yeah.
Like the fatter you are,
Exactly.
the greedier you are, and this guy's certainly not fat.
No.
But he's big, he's powerful. We got a little guy over here. He's so cute.
The new treaty.
Yeah.
His sleeves are rolled up. He's definitely putting in some work.
Hard at work, yep.
Yep, the first spadeful.
Yeah, spade is a type of shovel.
Yep.
A spaded shovel. I told my son the other day, go get the flathead shovel. He's like, what's that?
Yeah.
I go, it's the one that's not the spaded shovel. He's like, oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It's teachable moments.
Generation
Teachable
Z.
moments.
Gen
And of
Z.
course, shoveling is hard, so after 3 shovels, he's probably pretty much done with
Yeah.
this. And this guy seems to be shoveling in between, I don't know, it looks like a hill, piece of land, so this way these boats can get in.
Yeah, and it almost appears like he's throwing the dirt on top of this city over here, Bogota.
Bogota.
Bogota is the capital city of Colombia.
Yep.
So that's giving us some geographic context as to where we are. Colombia is in South America. Colombia is bordering the Central America.
Sure.
The Isthmus of Panama, hint, hint.
So then, of course, Panama was controlled at one point by Colombia.
Yep.
If we get into this, this is definitely Theodore Roosevelt. We don't really have anything indicating time period for you in terms of dates.
But Roosevelt was president at the turn of the century, becomes president in 1901 upon McKinley's assassination. Something just caught my eye,
Right.
and I want to point it out.
What do you got?
Is this right here, this boat.
Oh,
It is not like the others.
no, it's not.
Remember Sesame Street? One of these things is not like the
other.
other. Yeah, this is certainly not like the other. I see guns, cannons coming off, and it's white. Reminds me of the Great White Fleet.
Yeah.
The modern Navy that was produced at the turn of the century.
So there are many different Theodore Roosevelts.
Mhm.
A lot of people associate him with the Progressive Reform Roosevelt.
Trustbuster.
This is the expansionist Theodore
Yes.
Roosevelt. And since we're talking about guns and wanting to expand, we should probably put Alfred Thayer Mahan in this discussion. Roosevelt did fight in the Spanish-American War. He was one of these people that when McKinley was on the fence at the beginning of the Spanish-American War on whether or not the U.S. should get involved.
Yep.
Theodore Roosevelt felt we should.
Mhm.
So did Alfred Thayer Mahan and other imperialists because there was a need for new markets. There was a need to gain more military bases as well. So I'm glad you caught the boat there.
Yeah, the
with
whole,
guns on it.
chewing bubble gum and taking names. Roosevelt's famous quote, speak softly,
Carry a
but
big stick.
carry a big stick.
So you bring up Great White Fleet. There's also gunboat diplomacy that probably goes along
Yep.
with this particular time period. If you think back to 1850s where we went over and wound up encouraging Japan, keyword encouraging Japan, to open up trade with us. So again, since we do have the gun here, the gunboat, if you want, this naval ship, at first, when we're getting into what's outside of this document, just in case people don't know, at first we wanted to build a canal through Panama. And if you look here, there's a lot of things that are kind of a common theme throughout U.S. history. If we're able to get boats to go through that canal, shipping is going to become easier, efficient. It's going to make shipping cheaper as well.
Even safer.
Yeah, in terms of merchant ships, yeah, shipping is going to go down, very similar to the Transcontinental Railroad. But in terms of now, putting pieces on the board, if you're moving around your military, that's going to make it easier because at one point, and we'll probably put the map somewhere over here, at one point, if you had to go from California, to New York, the route you're taking is going to take you all around south, all the way down south, around South America, coming back up north, whereas, that canal that's going to go through Panama is going to cut it down and make it much easier.
And we had offered Colombia
A lot of money.
a lot of money to allow us to build
A lease.
the canal.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, no. So Roosevelt's like, okay, hey Panama,
Right.
hey Panamanians, if you guys rebel, if you declare your independence against Colombia, we're gonna support you.
Yep.
We're gonna support you. And Panama wouldn't have won a revolution against Colombia, but all of a sudden they declare independence. Here comes our navy, and
Right.
Colombia's like, maybe we should have took that
Right,
money.
yeah, we sent in the USS Nashville, I believe
Yep.
it was, and then, that show of force makes you feel a little bit tougher. You're
Yep.
gonna fight. They were there to back them up just in case.
We signed a treaty with the new Panamanian government. Boom.
And we recognize them, and they're like, hey, you helped us. We're gonna help you by allowing you to build that canal.
It's amazing how a picture can give you so much geographic and historical context.
Yep. I think once you get an idea of what Theodore Roosevelt's about, everything else kind of falls into place.
Yes.
So let's see what the U.S. History Regents have wanted to ask on this. The cartoon illustrates the actions of President Theodore Roosevelt in securing the land to build the Panama Canal. Well, if I go back here, I do like it,
Digging. We
Panama
know
Canal.
we're in Central Panama. We mentioned Panama.
right? We mentioned that you probably, there's the hint right there. I don't know everybody's gonna catch that at first.
No, I didn't catch it at first.
Right, but now that we're bringing it up here, the use of the Navy and the military to kind of get what you want, going back to acquiring Hawaii, acquiring these other lands after we win in the Spanish-American War. So securing the land to build the Panama Canal, yeah, I like it. Leading troops in the Spanish-American War.
Nice little distractor.
Yeah,
distractor
exactly.
answer there because Roosevelt was in the Spanish-American War. He did lead troops. We did mention that there is a warship here. Context is similar location to where he was fighting.
Yeah, geographically we're close, Colombia and Panama,
And as we said, the many different hats that Roosevelt had worn,
Yep.
that if you just associate, I remember him, he ran up San Juan Hill with the Rough Riders. Boom, that's got to be the answer.
So, right, very, very good distractor. Ending the war between Russia and Japan.
Throw that out.
If you know where you are geographically, Russia and Japan, if you have a world map, they're all the way over here.
Yeah, it's not Bogotaski.
Yeah, that's a good one. Improving diplomatic relations with Latin American nations. Another good,
You're throwing Latin America in, that's similar geographic context there, but there's really nothing here in this cartoon that leads me to be that this is an improvement of relationships, especially when you're throwing dirt on top of a city.
Right.
Yeah.
the U.S. is big,
They're small.
they're small, new treaty,
Flexing on them.
right? Go with that
Yeah.
one. Now, when we, prior to getting into this, I saw this and go, hey, you know what else looks like that? This.
Yep.
This. And
No, go
again-
back to, yeah.
What do you want?
You're
This one?
sitting there, again, really big Roosevelt.
Yep.
With a really, really small, I don't even know who that's supposed to represent there.
We got a sombrero.
But certainly big, Panama.
Panama. There we go.
So,
And of course, when you talk about that ship coming in, here's Roosevelt getting off, and what does he have? He looks like a soccer mom or a Karen going to the beach with all the buckets and toys for the kids.
except their knives and guns and
Yep.
a big shovel.
Yep, knives, guns, big shovel. Got the U.S. flag right there. A coup d'etat. Making reference to the
Overthrown
overthrowing.
government.
Right. We have the guns again. More guns. Right. We're looking at something.
No.
Again, another one. Uncle Sam in the background.
With a shovel in his hand.
with a shovel in his hand. Here's Theodore Roosevelt.
With his money for building the canal, kind of holding them up, and they say no.
Yeah, well, and again, this is what we mentioned before. At first we wanted to, lease it, and that's referring there right there.
Talk about like historical mistakes, Colombia.
Sure, and of course Theodore Roosevelt in here is bigger. He's got his hand around his throat.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you an offer you
He's
can't
got a
refuse.
menacing looking face.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Yeah, and even if you're looking at facial expressions, definitely not happy.
Yep.
You're looking at posturing as well. Uncle Sam's happy. He knows this is going to happen one way or the other.
He's always
Anything else we need to?
Well, there was the second question.
Oh, there was a
Kinda-
second
kinda
question.
Giving away the answer there.
Whoa! Oops.
Yeah.
Critics of the actions shown in this cartoon claim that President Theodore Roosevelt was, all right, big, powerful. Let's see what we got. We went through that one.
Yep.
Causing environmental damage. Really not on the radar during that time period.
No one really cared about the environment in that
Right.
time period.
Following a policy of imperialism. I like that one.
Especially since there's a big vocabulary word, the anti-imperialists.
And if you're a test maker, when you're throwing in imperialism, if you don't know the definition of that word, that can really throw you off.
Yes.
Of course, imperialism, you're looking at a bigger country, controlling a smaller one economically and politically. And I think definitely when we look here, I definitely see that there.
Yes.
You know, requiring massive tax increases. No.
Yeah.
Producing major trade deficits with China. You know, again, it goes back to the other question. You know, when you look at where they're located geographically. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's going to be two, just in case you didn't see it as we were screening through it, following a policy of imperialism.
Yeah.
Again, when you're knowing the definition of that word, and maybe these other political cartoons maybe came up, you know, the powerful country seeking to control a weaker country, you know, hopefully that helps out. And again here, you know, the powerful country influence on the weaker.
Yeah, and I'll bet you $1 million that every time there's a U.S. history Regents, there is an imperialism question.
Has to be.
I mean, there has to be.
So with those two questions and the other three cartoons that we threw in that go along with this one, hopefully that's pretty helpful.
All right.
Good, thanks for watching.